guys, and welcome to Between the Sheets, where we take 12 years of marriage experience and give unsolicited advice to those who choose to enter our room.
So tonight, just like always, we're gonna jump right into it.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm a little rough, but I hope this end up on the right side of TikTok. I know I'm not the only mother that, lost her sex drive or any drive to want to. And it's really taking a toll on my relationship. And it's like, I'm being to blame for this shit. Like, I'm not doing this shit on purpose. You feel me? And it's just like, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta keep taking breathers because I'm trying not to cry on this app. But I just know I'm not the only mother that's going through this shit. Like, I get bashed for not being sexual, but it's not my fault, and I'm trying the best that I can. But it's really taking a toll on me. Like, I'm stressed out. I'm depressed. I'm tired of forcing myself to do sexual intercourse when I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really stressful. And a man is not going to understand coming from a woman's perspective because they can't have children. They are walking sex drive. They be ready to I didn't mean to say that. They be ready to, have sex anywhere, anytime, any day, all. And it's just really frustrating. Like, it's just, I'm honestly losing myself. I really am. I really am. I'm losing myself. And I don't know where I'm going, but I'm not here.
So yeah, that's a sad video, but I didn't choose that video based on the sexual nature of it. I chose it so that we can have a bit of a conversation about postpartum issues, depression, and whatever else comes along with that. And unfortunately, sex is something that comes along with that, but other things come along with that as well. And I can speak from my perspective as a husband, but obviously the person that gets the brunt of the issue would be the woman. So I'm going to let you take that because I can't speak too much to it.
Um, that my heart, man, it aches for her. Um, Childbirth, carrying a child, having a child, that period of if we just jump, past the whole pregnancy thing, because that's a trial in and of itself, but you jump out of that and you go to, okay, I just had this baby taken out of me, and now it's a whole human life here that I'm responsible for. And all of these emotions are just kind of flooding you, and you don't know how to feel, but at the same time, there's a sadness, there's a relief, there's a happiness. It's just kind of all over the place. And for some women, that's not the case, right? Some women have their baby, and it's just this beautiful, joyous thing, and there is never any baby blues or postpartum depression or anything like that. But for a lot of people, myself included, postpartum depression is real. And with that comes not only a low sex drive, confusion, fear, and irrational sadness. I remember feeling guilty for feeling sad. So our oldest is 9, right? So we've been married when he was born. I think we were 3 years. We've been married. We've been friends for over a decade, but we've been married for 3 years. And I could not bring myself to tell him how sad I was because I felt so guilty for feeling sad. Like, how dare you feel sad? You have this child that you prayed for. Like, he's here now. He's beautiful. He's healthy. And he's here. And you have this amazing husband. And it's just the picture of perfection. But on the inside, I'm dying. I'm literally dying. I'm drowning right now in just irrational sadness. I would go into the bathroom and just cry secretly. Because it's hard to explain. And I felt like you wouldn't understand. Like, how could you understand? Because you're not going through this. And I didn't want you to look at me like, this woman has lost her mind. Like, I remember finally going to the doctor for like my 2-week, 3-week checkup, something like that. And the receptionist stopped me and she was like, what's wrong? And I just kind of bust out crying. Like, y'all gave me this worm and I don't know what to do with him. And my feelings are hurt and I'm sad and I'm guilty and I'm this, I'm that. It's horrible.
There's a worm.
He was a worm. He looked like a worm. Y'all gave me this little baby worm and now you want me to take care of him.
They didn't give you, anyway.
Whatever, he looked like a worm.
Back on track, I
He
apologize.
real cute, but he looked like a worm. But there's this myriad of emotions that happens, and there are all these changes in your body, both physically, hormonally, that you really don't, you're not really taught how to deal with. I've said this before, even throughout my pregnancy, that as women, I feel like we don't talk about the bad side of pregnancy. And I don't know if it's because it's out of fear or you don't want to scare someone. You don't want to put all your bad experiences off on them. But I went through my first pregnancy feeling like y'all just left me out here flapping in the wind. Ain't nobody tell me none of this stuff. Y'all just made it seem like it was going to be this beautiful, joyous experience. And while it was happy and it was amazing and my body was changing and all of this stuff, it was also some periods of just being miserable and not knowing what to expect and what to do. And after having him, I suffered in silence. I really did. I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to be looked at. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to comb my hair. I didn't want to do anything. I was severely depressed. And unfortunately, like I said, I suffered through it in silence. Even after talking to the receptionist, I still didn't really explain to him what I was dealing with, right? So you're as the spouse, as the husband, you're looking at me like everything's fine, let's move on with our life. And I'm like, this isn't working. Like, my body doesn't look the same. I got milk coming from everywhere. I smell like spoiled milk. This baby keep throwing up on me. My stomach hurts. Like, it's jiggling and it's not the same. And it's like, there's not really anything you can do to help. At least not for me. There was nothing that he could do to help. It was just a matter of me working through it. But I think the main thing, which I learned with our second baby, because I went through it again, but I was very vocal that time. I was not silent. I was very clear about how I was feeling, when I needed a break, like all of those things. And it was much easier to get through with our second son because I voiced those things. Again, I think many of us suffer in silence because you feel guilty for feeling sad. Like, how dare you feel sad? There are people out here who would love to have a child. Why are you sitting here sad and you have this beautiful, healthy child right here? So there's this guilt that's attached to it. And with that guilt comes more sadness because I feel bad for feeling bad. All you can really do is listen. That's it. But we have to be willing to talk and ask for the help. If you know what you need, then say what you need. For me, sometimes it was, I just need to sleep. Take this little baby so I can go to sleep. From your perspective.
From my perspective, what you want me to talk about?
Yeah.
I don't have a lot to really say about it because, as you said, you kind of suffered in silence. I mean, I think the issue is, well, at least for us, I mean, was you not telling me anything.
Yeah, that was a big issue.
Obviously, coming from a background in healthcare, obviously I know what postpartum is, postpartum depression. We even talked about it before.
Yeah.
You had the baby.
But you didn't see it in me.
And you didn't think, no, I didn't.
I hid it well.
Because you didn't say anything. And I don't know if other moms do this. I don't know if they hide it or if they say stuff. And the husband in that instance is just taking it as, oh, she just biting my head off. It's kind of hard for the man, who is not going through the same shifting emotion, the same shifting hormones to actually feel exactly what's going on unless you tell them. But if you're yelling at me and you're getting agitated,
at you.
no, I'm not saying you did. I'm talking about in
But
general.
yeah, that is something that could happen.
If you're yelling at me or you're snappy or you're super agitated, I'm just taking that as you're just upset. You know what I'm saying? I could kind of, I guess, chalk that up to you being tired and, or whatever you want to call it while, because you've been dealing with the baby. I could chalk it up to that, but me saying, oh, she got postpartum depression. I don't know how many men, healthcare or not, are going to look at that and be like, this is exactly what this is. I mean, obviously, the second time around, I was aware and I was able to catch up on those things because after you kind of came to the end of your postpartum scenario, you kind of filled me in on what was going on. But also, what you didn't talk about was how when after you had the baby, I had to go ahead and start working.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about pregnancies and his career elevation, but with both pregnancies, he had to leave me. When we had our oldest son, we were in hospital for a few days. We came home, and then a couple days later, he was like, yeah, I got to go do this workshop. That did not help at all. So he's gone. And I think that was what, like a week or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the entire paternity leave, but it was like a week, and it was a crucial week. It was our first week home, and here I am alone. My mom came down. She only stayed like a day, and so I'm literally in here alone with this. And we both have our main careers are in healthcare. Okay, so just put that into perspective. I know all about babies. All right, I know about them very, very well. I didn't know about my own though. It was like everything I'd ever learned or ever understood just went out the window, and now I'm alone with this little worm.
Stop calling this baby.
He did look like a worm.
Anyway.
Who just keep looking at me, and he want me to do stuff like feed him. And
He doesn't want you to do anything.
he needs me to do these things.
He is unaware of what the heck is going on, to my
But
knowledge.
I'm battling through my own existential crisis here. And the same thing with our second one. With him, it was even worse because it was like I had him. We spent our few days in the hospital. Both of my deliveries were very traumatic. Let's add that they both ended in emergency C-sections after long hours of labor and heart rate decels and all of that amazing stuff. And then to get out of the hospital, and the very next day, he has to leave and go to work, like all day long.
And I know y'all thinking, this dude is trash.
No.
Why didn't he take paternity leave? Well, you don't get paternity leave when you run your own company.
Yeah.
So
With the first one, you did have paternity leave, though. But you were also starting your own company
Right.
at the same time. So while he was on paternity leave from the full-time job, opportunities arose for the business side, and he couldn't turn them down. So I understood why he had to leave me. It still didn't change the fact that it was very hard being left alone. And with our second son, I not only had, our baby, our infant, our brand new baby, I also had our oldest son who was 5 at the time, who was supposed to be in school, but I can't drive, so he can't go to school. Dad's at work, so there's nobody to take him to school and pick him up. And I have this C-section scar incision that is very painful, and I'm on medication while also trying to breastfeed. And anyone who's ever breastfeed, I don't know, not everyone experiences it, but there's a release of oxytocin that happens that kind of puts you to sleep while you're nursing. So you're up every 2 hours trying to nurse one kid, while you still have to stay awake and take care of the 5-year-old who still needs to eat and have attention paid to him while also trying to manage your own emotions. And it can be a lot. It is a lot because all of these things are changing. All of these hormone releases are happening. And you're being used, especially if you're breastfeeding. You are being used. There's energy constantly being taken from you while you're still trying to process everything that has happened, right?
So, with everything you're saying, all the young women watching this are probably just like, you see, this is why I'm not getting married. You see, this is why I don't want kids. And I don't want anything destroying my body and yada, yada, yada.
I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, though. Still, two of the best things I ever did in my life, even with every bit of depression and sadness and body change that came along with it, I wouldn't trade it. I have two amazing sons. They're incredible beings. I grew them inside my body. Every little finger, hair follicle, every cell of their body came from within me. That's amazing. I would not trade it. I just think that we have to be more honest and open about what pregnancy and postpartum looks like, right? Mm-hmm. I think that we do our sisters a disservice by not having that conversation. The majority of my friends had not had children when I had my son. If they did have children, they had kids really, really young. And so they were kids themselves and didn't have a lot to say about what that looked like. Mm-hmm. And so my friends will tell you, if you want the bare, honest truth about what pregnancy looks like, I will answer any question that you have.
Yeah, you got to give all the information so people can make an informed decision. So I obviously have not given birth because I am a male. But the thing is this, I don't think, like you just said, you would trade it.
No.
I still think it's a very beautiful experience. And
I'd do it again.
But see, people will hear that story and what you just told and be like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on that. But just to speak to a little bit on my side of things, to the husbands or the men out there that have or are looking to have a wife, or a significant other that is going to be having their child. We have to do our part. Looking back, could I have done some things differently? I would say so. I think it would have helped a lot to actually know exactly what the heck was going on. I think the second time around, I did do better.
You did.
Even though I had to bounce.
But you were much more informed the second time around.
I had to make the money, and I made sure to make space for the necessary rest and the healing. It wasn't like the first time around, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't letting you sleep. We were both up, tired, and I was leaving the house and going all day and still up at night doing whatever shifts with you. Getting up while you breastfeeding and stuff. I don't know why I was awake.
It was stupid.
It was no reason for me to be awake because I would have been
mad if you was over there sleeping while I was awake every 2 hours. That would have been a problem.
But yeah, so in this scenario, if you have a significant other that is going through a particular situation like this, it's important for you to kind of recognize the different changes in attitude and stress level. I think any woman is probably going to be somewhat stressed because that lack of sleep that'll knock anybody out, man or woman. But take that on, with I'm breastfeeding. I am up listening to a new crying baby, something that I've never dealt with before, and the shift in the hormones. That's enough to knock anybody out. So as men, we gotta be able to be there to help out, take a shift, take a couple shifts, take 3 or 4 shifts, so mom and wife can sleep and and get back to where she was, pre-baby. She probably won't get there 100%.
No, it's gonna take time.
So
And I think you as the husband or partner or whatever, the significant other, the person involved, the father of the child, okay? You have to give allowances for the insanity that ensues.
to a certain extent, though.
To a certain extent.
Now,
There's
if
a difference between postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis.
Yeah, that mania.
Keep that in mind, okay?
If
women who kill their children are going through postpartum psychosis. Now, postpartum depression, it's 2 different things.
But see, there's a line though.
There is.
I don't really know how to point out to you what you should definitely be looking for in a situation to where the woman is not sharing with the husband that she's having thoughts of possibly hurting the baby or hurting herself or anybody else. If she's not sharing, I don't know what to do with that. I mean,
all you can really do is just pay attention and ask questions.
Yeah, definitely ask questions. Are you feeling okay?
And make sure that when she's going to the doctor, she's actually telling them how she's feeling. Because with my first doctor, I really didn't. I told the receptionist, but I didn't really tell the doctor how I was feeling. But with my second one, I was very vocal with my doctor and my midwife.
Because you've been through it before, so
I'm sad, okay? I'm really, really sad. Just letting y'all know it's not working out. I'm sad.
Yeah.
They were great. They really were. Everyone in the office is a woman, so that helps too. My first doctor was a guy. Not that he wouldn't have understood because he was a great doctor, but I think having the female interaction and understanding is different. Like, again, when that receptionist saw me, like when she saw me, right? She saw everything that I was going through without me even having to say it, and that was a relief. Even though I was still going through it, just having someone to have that conversation with. Moms, ladies, if your friend is having a baby, please check on that friend. We love to check on the baby. How's the baby doing? Are they eating? Yada, yada, yada. Please check on mom. Don't leave mom out there flapping in the wind. Be mindful that she may randomly burst out crying. I remember with our second one, when I popped the breast warmer thing in the microwave, I was devastated. I had a whole emotional breakdown.
But I was there for you.
You were, and you went and got me a new one. I was devastated.
I went and got it. I understood what was happening.
It was hysterical. I
understood.
Anyone who breastfeeds, they have these little warming, like a heating pad for your breasts because they hurt. And I put it in a microwave and it popped, and it was just a whole mental, emotional breakdown. I felt bad, like I had failed for popping the heating pad. I felt bad because he was gonna have to go out. I think it was raining and it was cold. He was gonna have to go out and get me another one because I can't go out. I just had a brand new baby. I can't go outside. I can barely walk. It was bad. It was really, really bad. That space has to be allowed for. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And to kind of, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't want to take it down this route, but we do kind of got to touch on it a little bit. To go back to what she was saying, her sexual drive has suffered because of the postpartum. You can look at the video and tell that she's having postpartum issues, at least in my opinion. Mm-hmm.
No way of knowing how long ago she had the baby, but the other thing to keep in mind is that postpartum doesn't go away.
Right.
After
it can last for months.
It can last years.
Yeah. So as the husband and as the significant other, you kind of got to be aware of that and understand and give that space that, hey, sex might not be happening for a little while until this.
Even after everything heals.
Right.
Because just because it's healed physically does not mean it's healed emotionally and mentally.
Yeah. And that can be tough for some of y'all. I understand. I really understand. But listen, this woman has taken her body and created life, basically cloned you. So the least you can do is give her some time to, to heal physically, obviously, but also make sure her mental is in a space to where she's able to provide that particular action for you.
Ladies, I implore you to connect with friends or peer groups that you can just talk to about these things. Because for me, at least, not having someone to talk to about it was the hardest thing, and feeling like I couldn't. I've had the same friends since high school. I felt like I couldn't call them and tell them about this because, again, how dare you be sad when you just had this amazing, beautiful, incredible child? Like, why are you sad? That's how I felt. But you have to allow yourself the space to open up and talk about it so that you can get through it. Again, with my second one, it was much easier because I would tell anybody. It didn't matter. You could be walking by me in the grocery aisle and be like, your baby is so cute. And I would be like, yeah, he's so cute, but I'm really sad. Okay? I'm sad. They be looking at me like I was crazy.
I hope you weren't doing that. That's a bit much.
I would, like little older ladies, because they be like, how are you? The older people, younger people not so much, but the older people they would comment on the baby and then they would ask, how are you? And I'd be like, I'm a little sad, but I'm getting through it. I'm working through it.
What did they say?
And they'd just be like, it'll get better.
Nice little hearty pop, pat on the back.
It helped me.
Well,
it was no advice. It was just me getting it out and not holding it in. Anytime somebody asked me how I was doing, I stopped saying, I'm fine. I'm not about to tell you this lie. I'm not fine.
Because you are not fine.
I am not okay. Okay? No, I'm not going to hurt the baby, but I am not okay. I'm still working through this.
I don't know. I mean, I just felt like we needed to kind of discuss that because I think in the land of social media, it's not discussed a lot.
It's not.
So
it's not.
I wanted to touch on that to help, a lot of people understand, because before you have a kid, you can read all the books in the world. It does not necessarily prepare you for what's going to happen and the changes that's going to happen to the woman's body and possibly the relationship that you have with one another.
I am well educated in women's health.
So
very well educated.
So
still didn't prepare me.
The space needs to be made and the education needs to be out there for women in these scenarios to be aware that, hey, this is something that can happen to you. It doesn't happen to everybody, but if it happens, you need to recognize it and you need to be vocal about it, especially with your partner so they can understand. And you need to be very specific about it, because if you tell me that you a little aggravated, what's new? You probably aggravated a lot, but sometimes, guys, we don't tie things together. And I mean, our first thought may not be, oh, this is postpartum depression. So if you give, that conversation, the space to kind of air out so that the man can understand exactly what's going on so he can proceed like he needs to, I think a lot of times men would step up to the plate and do a little bit better. But also for the husband, the men out there, you need to recognize the scenario. She's feeling a little down, more than usual. You need to ask questions, check in, and help as much as possible. As much as possible. I don't know how to really spell that out for you, but I know everybody like to be like, well, the wife or the woman needs to be cleaning up the house, cooking the meals. Obviously, after that situation, that is not something that's realistically.
Mess around and starve.
If you love her and you respect her, then you definitely need to, step up and start doing a lot more, especially since she's cloned you at this point. But yeah, give the space to heal mentally, physically, and just be there. That's That's the only advice I can really give. That's what I tried to do, and I hope I did a good job. I mean, we still together, so I guess I did all right.
You did all right.
But yeah, you got anything else?
I tend to stay out of the comments on our videos because y'all can be mean sometimes. However, I would love to see y'all's comments, how you dealt with your postpartum, how you dealt with your the mother of your child's postpartum period, whether it was postpartum depression, postpartum blues, like baby blues, or even postpartum psychosis. I think that we don't talk about it enough. And knowing that someone else is going through it and they made it through it is helpful. So please share, comment, ask questions. I am completely transparent about my pregnancies and the thereafter that came. So that's it. I hope this helps somebody, anybody, even just one person. And I really hope that poor sweet baby gets through this.
Same. Like, share, subscribe, please.
Have a good night.
Peace.